Cal, what it do?
For like a year and a half, when I was 18, 19, I wanted to be the first white rapper to rap while playing the acoustic guitar, because I just thought that those two sounds together were like the dopest thing ever. But the key was rapping. And then Everlast, I don't know why I'm even opening the show with this. And then Everlast comes out and he's like, Whitey Ford sings the blues. Dude, I mean, you weren't the worst rapper in the world. You weren't the greatest by far. But why would you pick up a guitar as a white rapper and then sing instead of rap? I don't know. I feel like they missed the boat there. And you know what? Still to this day, there hasn't been a white rapper who plays the guitar and raps while he plays the guitar, which literally has nothing to do with this man. Bondzee.
Hi, Jamesy. I like that, though.
Well, listen, I brought that up because that's your son, Ty, right?
Brad, my youngest son. That's his little ditty. That's not even out yet. So,
Jesus,
yeah.
How many rappers have you fucking created? Like, what's...
I said two. I had two boys, and they're two of the best.
The answer is two.
They're good kids.
It's two.
Yeah.
No, well, you're living my dream. That's why I'm asking. Because, like, my son is 7. And I feel like I'm doing the equivalent to, like, you know, those, like, dads that, you got to play football, starting defense, place at the table. You know, those kind of fathers. I'm sitting there with my son, like, literally every day. I'm like, did you memorize that really tough rap lyric yet? Did you do that? So it's just
you got
like,
it down?
Dude, we're going to do a track together. We're doing a track together called Little Italy. And I'm going to do the verses, and he's going to do the hook. He's my feature for the hook, right?
Nice.
And the hook is a 7-year-old doing it exactly like this. A loser on the lamb in Little Italy, literally a little league legend at 11, allegedly. And I'm just like, it took like 3 months, and my 7-year-old can do that now. And I got to tell you, I think I found a way to make money.
Hey, super. Get him memorizing that rap god, and you're off to the races.
That's, you know, you got to start them young if you want them to be rappers. There's that funny meme where it's like, it's in the future. It's like 2048 or something like that. And a man passes out, and there's all these people there. And someone's crouched down, and they look over at like the 6 people, and they're like, is any of you a doctor? And one guy's like, oh, sorry, I'm a rapper. And the rest of them, one by one, are like, yeah, sorry, I'm a rapper too. It's all these like middle-aged white people.
That's pretty funny.
We're all funny. Listen, where were you born and raised?
Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't hold it against me either, by the way.
No, I'm not. Like, it's a low-hanging fruit joke, the whole scuzzy thing of Hamilton that's clearly been the case for its entire existence. But like, well, have they cleaned up the industrial side? Have they? They done
have.
That?
They really have. Yeah, like there's the one Procter and Gamble's gone. Dad put in 30 years there. Good on him. And then I think Stelco, DeFasco, they've all kind of, you know, pulled up their socks, if you will, to help the environment. And it is a little better down there, I'd like to say. Haven't lived there in a long time.
I've been told that it's like the Brooklyn of Toronto. Like it's becoming that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been there in a long
time. That's a little
generous, there, but it's a little generous. I don't think we'll quite go with Brooklyn, Mister, but you know, maybe
Mister.
I don't even know.
Fuck. Okay, Ward Cleaver. I don't know what you know.
That's one of my favorite words. Sorry.
What is
Mister?
Yeah, it's very like I don't know, parental or something. I don't know. It's funny. So I grew up then basically on the other side of Toronto, about the same distance. So we're kind of like, you know, you were on the west and I was on the east side of Toronto, around the Golden Horseshoe, right? I grew up in Oshawa, Whitby. So we probably had a similar upbringing. You probably a little bit more urbanized at a younger age because Hamilton's that much bigger than Whitby, but We probably knew the equal amount of scumbags.
Yeah,
I would
I
think.
would say that for
Yeah.
sure. And Hamilton was definitely separated back then. You had the West Enders, which were more the preppy hoity-toity types, if you will, had some money. Then you
Is
had
that the area of Hamilton closest to Dundas?
yes, it is right
Oh,
by the
okay.
university. Yeah,
Dundas is
yeah.
beautiful. I would
It
totally
is
retire there.
great town.
Yeah.
Dundas, Ancaster surrounds Hamilton there on the outskirts, and that's where I kind of grew up. And listen, I didn't grow up filthy rich or anything, but I didn't grow up piss poor. Yeah, when I was younger, I remember my parents probably struggling a little bit, but my dad got into a great place coming here from Canada. Oh, there's an old school photo. They came here
I
from
don't even
England.
know which one are you. You look like you're part of a experiment of cloning children because whoever
I'm
that
the
is
one
looks a
on the
lot like you.
left.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, me and my brother, that's my middle brother Ryan there. He's only a year and 9 months younger than me, and we look very much alike, as you can tell by
Are
that photo.
what are your parents like? What's their lineage?
So they're from England. Both
Mhm.
of them, mom's from Bristol, dad's from the Bath, Chippenham area. And they came here, I think they were both about 24, 25. They came to Canada in 1971, I believe. And then I was
Okay,
born 2 years later. Yeah.
so
And
you're
I got to go
49
to
now, right?
England. Yeah, I'll be 49 this year.
Okay.
And I'm super blessed for kind of the life that my parents gave me in Hamilton and coming from England. And I always bug them to this day. I'll have to bring this up real quick is that they had two choices of what they could do. It was move to Ontario
Yeah,
or they could move to Australia. And I still listen, I
yeah,
love Canada and everything, but boy, I could have grown up a surfer with a nice
yeah. But
flow or
you'd probably be far more racist.
what do you mean far more? I'm not racist at all, you bastard.
Well, there you go. Then it would be that much more racist. I don't know. I'm just
Maybe I don't
stereotyping
know.
white people, so it's okay.
Anyways, I would have kind
Um,
of liked to grow up in Australia, I think, but
well, that's
here we
kind
are.
of like that's one thing that I want to talk about because I don't know. Like, you sound like you had good parents. I don't want to make
Yeah,
an
I did.
assumption, but
Yep, I did. Love my mom and dad. Dad supported everything I did, especially sports and stuff, and was always present. Mom, not so much. I mean, she had two other idiots to raise whilst I was, excelling in sports, if you will. I remember my dad would work crazy amount of hours, and then his free time was spent driving my ass around the country playing, or not the country, but the province of Ontario playing hockey and stuff. I was playing some double A back then and stuff, and it was a lot of time on the road, and it was amazing memories and time spent with my father. And he is my best friend. I am so thankful he's still alive to this day, and I wouldn't be the person I am without him. That being
and
said, James,
yeah, go ahead.
he doesn't understand the struggles that I live today. He just doesn't get it to this day. And I'm okay with that. And we had this conversation yesterday. He's like, I don't understand the kids today, Bondzee. He doesn't call me Bondzee. Gregory. Um,
It'd be
he's
funny
like,
if he did.
I know, right? He's
Gregory.
he's had parents go to war,
Yeah.
and they know he knows they suffered traumatically and stuff. And then I saw a kid get hit and killed by a train 10, 15 yards away from me and then found him. And it fucked my life up. And I
Oh,
haven't been
hold on
able
a
to get over it.
second. Because you were in your 20s or something when that happened, weren't you?
Oh, God, 2009, whatever. I think it was in my 30s, early 30s.
Okay, so we're not. So getting back to like
Sorry.
growing up in Hamilton and all that kind of stuff. Did your family ever go through like, let's just say, until you were like in high school? Was there any moment or moments during the time before high school, from when you were born, that stand out to you as being like one of your best memories ever? And the reason why I'm asking, by the way, is because just me personally, and I've always wondered if other people felt this way, but like I felt like as soon as I left elementary school, bad shit started to happen. Like, it was like,
Really?
yeah, because I was I don't know if sheltered's the right word, but like, I graduated elementary school or whatever in like 1990. So there was no like cocaine in my elementary school. There was no drugs at all in my elementary school.
Same.
There was barely
Same.
a cigarette in my elementary school. And then I get to high school and it's like all these people that look like extras in a Motley Crue video are fucking like, smoking hash and stuff outside. And I'm like, where am I? Like, what? My innocence just melted away. And so anyway, so I remember fondly things that happened before I was 13. And I was just wondering if you have if that part of your life, that chapter was like really rewarding, or was it traumatic, or?
Honestly, I had a great upbringing. My middle brother, and I don't know if it's fair of me to speak him, but I will. He was fucked up. He had ADHD, all that stuff, and back then people really didn't know how to deal with kids like my brother. I didn't know
How
how to
old's your
deal with them.
brother?
So I'm 49 this year. He's 47.
Okay, so I'm 45, and they didn't know how to deal with it back then. Like
Nope.
at all. And it's surprising in a way too, because some people were diagnosed back then, or at least like analyzed or whatever. But like, there's probably a reason that James wants to go to the bathroom 3 times a class and can't sit in his seat, and cracks jokes like every 6 seconds.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I was the same way, James, but I was able to wrangle my behavioral problems. Depends what teacher or principal you'd ask, but definitely compared to my brother, I was a million times better. He was just a different kid growing up. He really was.
The cynic in me is taking away from what you just said a couple minutes ago, which is that your dad was a really great dad and your best friend. Meaning that if I'm my son's really good dad and best friend, he could still end up a little bit fucked up for a while.
Well, hell yeah.
Like,
but it depends what happens to him in his life along the way, and outside of the things that you can't control, James.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. Like I find myself being petty a lot with people. Not with you right now, but I hear people sometimes like take their parents for granted. Like verbally, they'll say like, I love my mom. My mom, nothing's ever happened. I just don't really fucking care if I see her right now. I don't know. And I'm always just like a little bit, disappointed in people that don't understand how important it is to have good parents.
I'm blessed to this day that I've had 2 great parents. I had a stay-at-home mom. She was always there for us. Dad was always there when you need him. Dad was the one I would go to. If it was anything other than girls, if it was girls, I'd go to my mom. It was the weirdest thing growing up, but yeah, now it's like, listen, they're both still alive, and I have a fantastic relationship with them. We FaceTime not every day, but probably 3, 4, 5 times a week, and I'm blessed for that relationship that I have with my parents.
Did you go to college?
I went to broadcasting college. So after high school, I took off to Banff for 2 years, and upset me mom pretty heavily for not going right into college. I had a high school girlfriend that she just loved, and she thought we'd be married, and then I up and left. And she never forgave. Well, she forgave me now. 2 months of me being in Banff for her to speak to me because she was so upset that I left this girlfriend. I left my mom. I left my brothers.
Do you remember why you left?
Yeah, because I just was that guy who wanted. I knew right away. Traveling is in my DNA. It's my parents, from England. But even when they were over in Europe growing up, they were never home on the weekends. They would jet to Spain or go here, go there, Sweden, whatever, because you could live in England. It was so cheap to get around. You could take a train anywhere. And my parents did that, both of them. So and I always got to go to England every other year as a child growing up, which really instilled travel and adventure in me. And so I knew right from graduating that I did not want to go to college. I'm not the most educated of people. I just didn't care for it. I was there for the sports, the girls, the social life.
Yeah.
Regrets, yes. I wish I would have paid but this was the life that I was given. And so after I promised my mom I would go to college, regardless of going to Banff for 2 years. I come home. I went to, I think it was Fanshawe in Niagara Falls, or whatever's in Niagara Falls region.
Niagara College?
Niagara College, maybe. That would be the one.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Stop. You don't know what college you went to?
No, because I didn't go there. I walked in the front doors or whatever it was, and I was there with 2 buddies. We were both signing up and paying our tuition and stuff. And I literally was the next guy in line, and I turned around and left, and I said, "What the fuck am I doing here? This isn't what I want. I'm going to come here. I'm going to party my ass off. I'm going to probably fail." And I wasn't there to go to school yet still. And
Dude,
so I drove home.
Really
my parents
hilarious?
were like,
you know what's hilarious?
They were.
I went to Niagara College.
Sorry,
I went to Niagara College.
Okay.
I moved to Welland from Whitby, like an idiot, going to in a community college,
Welland,
in another community, so I didn't have to live at home anymore, where everything sucked, with one buddy. And I just I literally used the campus just to wander, because all I did was party and blow my OSAP money before Christmas.
Yeah.
right? So you literally were afraid
See, I
to
would
go
have
to
done the
college.
same thing,
But
James.
you were afraid to go to college because you may have done what I actually did when I went to the same college. So, yeah, babies, that strip joint.
Yep. So
Yeah, you
what I
know.
did was I went home. My parents are like, you need to do something. So it was either get a job or, and then I found the National Institute of Broadcasting in Toronto, where it was the best decision I ever made, James, because that I did a 2-year program in 1 year, and I went to school Monday to Friday. It was like a job, 9 to 5. So I lived in my parents' basement, and I went to school in Toronto for a full year. Graduated from NIB. Jim Carrey went there, by the way. True
What
story.
is NIB?
And so I did go to college, TV, radio broadcasting, and
Right.
yeah, that's where I went to school.
What does NIB stand for? National Institute of Broadcasting? Is that what
National Institute of Broadcasting. Yeah,
that
it
is?
was
Okay. Is
right
that
on
where they learn?
Young and St. Clair.
Okay. Is that where you learn to like develop that really weird Troy McClure radio voice? Is that like, does that happen at college? You know what I'm talking about? Hey, welcome to
No.
Z103. Like,
It doesn't. In fact, I think I really talk like that, though.
no, I don't. I'm just wondering because I would be tripped out if I had a class where the guy was basically just talking like, you know how like French teachers have this thing where they're like, no, 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 en français, and they don't talk French or English at all in French class. Maybe these radio broadcaster guys just
Yeah.
use the radio ad voice the whole time so that you guys will learn how to be fluent in douchebag. I hate that
Well,
voice.
it's funny because I had this big, more deeper radio, not even deep, but this more radio voice. And going through college and learn talk like that, asshole. As soon as I got to my first radio, I was hired by B101 in Barrie, about a year later, I guess. And they would do practice runs with me in the studio, like mock shows. And Derek Wellsman was my producer, and he was blind as a bat, but he had a brilliant ear, and he would make me do. I probably did, I'm gonna say 20 to 30 mock shows until I got it. Have a normal conversational voice with you instead of this guy, and hey, it's Z105. Like
I've always wanted to be a traffic guy, like
but
in the
yeah,
chopper.
it was, but that
Yeah.
was I. And so it was hard to break that mold that I listened to forever and ever.
Yeah, and but you didn't spend years in radio though.
I didn't. I spent, and then I was forced out by my then wife. I got to do a lot of cool stuff being part of a radio station, and we were up in Barrie, so it wasn't too far from Toronto. So we were taking listeners down for, concerts, contest winners that would call in and get limo rides and backstage passes and this and this and this. And I got to do a lot of fun stuff, and it wasn't jiving with her. And we had 1.5,
so
2-year-old.
You've had two marriages. You've had two marriages, right? So
Nope,
we have a
one-
delay.
one
So I'm gonna talk
marriage,
through the
15
delay.
years.
Okay? Yeah, we have like a 3-second delay because you're in like a ghetto hostel in Nicaragua somewhere, I think.
It's an apartment,
Holy
but
crap,
usually the internet's pretty good here. Maybe my
It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll navigate the waters by speaking slowly and coherently like this. You've been married twice, is that right?
no, once.
Once. Okay.
15 years.
So Dean jokes about this. I don't know the backstory about this, but before I tell you, I'll preamble to make you feel a bit better that I can trace 3 things in my life that I allowed to fuck my head up so much that one of those things probably would have killed a lot of people. And one of those things is a really horrible relationship and how it ended. It completely turned me inside out. It made me question loyalties among family and all that because my 4-year relationship ended when she ended up traveling across the country to go and fuck my father's brother. Right? And none of us own a trailer. So it really doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And anyways, since there were like 4 dark years after that, like, and it's still to this day, I can tell that I am like completely impacted by what happened in that relationship. And One time, Bonzi, you said that we had a lot in common. And one of those things I think is maybe the bad way to handle certain situations that happen to us. And it's funny because we know what the answers should be. But I, anyways, take the long route to get there. And I was curious. And guys, in case you can't tell, I am trying to extend this preamble to this question because I think Bondzee's Nicaraguan internet has gone out for a moment because he is no longer online. But Bondzee and I do have a lot in common, and I would hazard a guess to say that like a couple of those things are probably not very beneficial to our mental health. And so Bondzee, what I was going to ask you is that do you have like a gauge on how your marriage, your first marriage, had like impacted you overall? Like, were you cool with it? Were you the one in the relationship that was, fine, more fine than the other? Like, I'm curious because I was a total shit show and a complete useless person.
So listen, we met at college in Toronto. I got married at 23 years old, believe it or not. She was a year older than me, so 24, pretty young marriage. But we made it work. I remember people saying at our wedding that we wouldn't last a year because we were so young. We were probably making a mistake and blah, blah, blah. But she came from a family that had three older brothers. They all had started to have families, and she wanted to kind of keep up with the Joneses. She had the family had the we had the finances to do so and start a family early, get married early, and so I did that, and it was great. We lasted 15 years, and even up and towards the end, till the end, James, people were kind of not sick of us, but we were that couple that still held hands, publicly
Yeah,
affectionate.
I know that couple, and all of them are broken up.
Yeah, and it's funny
Yeah.
because I never saw it coming at all. Just one day, I was actually gone for 10 days to Miami on amateur golf championships. I qualified. I went down there, talked to her every day,
Just
and
this random Bonzi fact.
yeah, it is.
Anyways, my marriage fell. I was playing semi-pro golf at the time at this big tournament.
Well,
Like
no,
I had no idea.
amateur. But anyways, I came home and it was we were delayed because of hurricane. Fuck, I think whatever was in 2012, one of the big hurricanes that hit the East Coast. Anyways, got home Halloween night, and the next morning I got told it was over. See you later. No warning. Adios. Bye.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was shocking. The most at the time of my life at God, what was I then? Almost 40, 30, 38, 39. It was the most shocking thing that ever happened to me, quite frankly. Just to be told
Yeah.
it was over. And I was more terrified that I was losing this family life, that we had a really good family life. We were very sports oriented. We included the kids in everything we did, travel, everything. And poof, it's just gone one
And
day.
was it somebody else? I don't. I would.
Well, I basically did 2.5 years in court,
Yeah.
fighting for my life and my rights. She made a shit ton more money than I did. And I was the guy that got paid and got spousal support and all that at the end of the day.
I was
Just
about to
because of
say,
the
did you get
financials.
fucked in family court? And you didn't. But then all I heard was the reaction from a lot of single moms out there to be like, "What the fuck? The husband got the better deal."
Hey, it doesn't happen very often, but I was that guy that who had a wife that made a shit ton more money than I did.
Did you have a problem holding jobs or anything when you were young?
Never. I had a lot of jobs, but I never had a problem holding one. I just like to do many different things. I had many different interests. I started as a newspaper delivery boy. I made pizzas. Gosh, I did so many jobs. I delivered for pharmacies back in the day. Worked on golf courses, but I never. I think I was only fired once, maybe twice in my entire life.
Okay. Well, we don't have that in common. Trust me. I don't know if I've told you this before, but I've lived up here. I'm 45. I've lived up here for 5 years, I think. I'm about to celebrate my 5th year at this library that I work at. It's the longest job by far I've ever held
Wow.
in
Wow.
my life. Yeah.
I own my own painting company for 15 plus years, almost 20, but 15 full time. Like that was my life after radio. I started my own painting company, had a little stint at Brinks for 5 years, carried a gun and millions of
Oh,
dollars every day. But ultimately, that led into started painting on the side, and that led full time for 15 plus years.
Yeah, well, that's great, and that you know what that is? Good parents,
It is.
right?
It is.
Like leading by example, that kind of thing. Going to work every day. What did your mom do?
She was a stay-at-home mom mostly.
Yeah,
Once we were all in school and stuff, my mom did work at Canadian Tire. I remember working there. She worked at the
yeah.
passport office, which was a job she loved when we were all in high school and stuff. But yeah, she didn't have a lot of jobs. But I think she worked at Marks and Spencer's too at the mall one time, which was right up
Um,
her alley, being English and all.
yeah. From the 6 seconds of footage that I recently saw your mom when you were over there and podcasting, is she like the like really like she embodies the matriarch of the family? Is she like
Yes. Don't call her
outspoken
Sarge
and
for
funny
nothing,
and all
but
that kind of stuff? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my mom has
But it
an
doesn't sound
amazing
like
sense
you
of
call her
humor.
that because she's strict. It sounds like you call her that because she's like she's obviously in the room and you know it, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, she runs a tight ship over there. It's not strict. It's just mom's in charge. Listen, she had 3 boys. We all had 2 boys. She never got that kind of granddaughter or daughter sense. And Sarge runs a tight ship, and she's in charge over there. And but she's
Yeah.
a lovely woman. Her sense of humor is amazing. I've been trying to get her on the show for 2 straight years now. She says she's camera shy. I really don't think she would be once she gets going. There she is. She is such a wonderful human. I love her to pieces.
I like hearing you talk about her.
Yeah,
You know,
I mock her a lot on the show. She hates being called Sarge, which kind of bothers me. I think she
what's
hates,
her
loves
name?
it.
What's her
Penny,
name?
Penelope, she likes to be called.
Penny's
Penelope
a
Ann.
great name. I love that name.
Yeah,
It's a great
yeah.
name.
And my dad's name's Ken, so we got the Penn and Ken couple
If
there.
they were celebrities, like the tabloid writers would be like, Jesus Christ, this is like a fucking riddle. I don't know how to combine these two names
Right?
together. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you know, so far, by the way, we don't have much in common as far as our childhood goes. Like it seems like, and these are good things for you. You know, I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like it when I have things in common with people that are negative of any kind. It just makes me feel sad for them. You know, but as I've gotten older and you know dealt with all of that stuff, it's weird because you know I find myself trying to pull good memories from both my parents when I was young. And it's not that it's that difficult, but I am so hard on them. Like I am very, you know, judgy of my parents' parental prowess, I would say. You know, my dad basically didn't say a syllable for like from when I was like 13 until I moved out when I was 19. Like he literally was like the guy that was always there and never talking. You know?
Yeah. It's funny because, listen, my parents were strict as fuck when I grew up. I was the oldest, so I was the first one to come along. And, you know, compared to what my youngest brother, who's 7 years younger than me, what he went through and what I went through are 2 different lives with the same parents. I had to be in bed at like 8 o'clock. There was strict bedtimes. There was strict rules. There was chores. There was this and this and this. And it wasn't easy growing up with strict English parents like that, but at the same time, it made me who I am today. And I look back on that now, and as pissed as I was over the years, I mean, fuck, because I hear my friends' stories and stuff, and I can hear them playing outside still, and my ass is in my bedroom because I have to go to bed. You know, so I kind of resented that for a bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I grew up with the most amazing parents, and I'm pretty damn lucky for that. So,
Okay.
as strict as they may have been.
And then let's jump forward a little bit. At least I think it's jumping forward a little bit. And can you tell me what year this is?
That's got to be about when did I break my leg? About 2008, 2007, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Was
So it
my
wasn't
painting
too
days
long.
with
Well, I
2000.
mean, I guess that's
No,
15 years now. Jesus
that's
Christ.
meeting Dean. That was at a golf course, Angus Glen. The Trues were playing that
Dean,
night.
by the way, for people that aren't watching this but are listening, if you want to picture something, he was going through his early Jonah Hill days, I guess.
Be a pretty good assumption, yeah. He's a rather large fella. There he is.
Yeah, he just didn't get the role in Moneyball. Just this close.
So close. Now I look at that picture in disgust because I see that I have my Brett Favre football jersey tucked in tight to my pants.
Yeah,
What
what's
a
up with that, old
loser.
man?
God.
Yeah, men do that when they get older. They tuck in everything.
I
It
know.
doesn't
I
matter what
know.
it is. And they pull them up so high. I don't understand the high thing. Maybe Lachlan can shed some light on that. Probably a ball thing.
It's an old picture.
Yeah. So I'll skip some time there just because I'm looking at the clock. We have about 28 minutes, but I wanted to know what series of events or wait a second. Tell me about the head. Sorry, I'm not trying to belittle it, but I think it's been a long time. You know, levity. You can make AIDS jokes, so you should be able to make head jokes. So I just want to let you know that it's not out of mean spiritedness, but I'm not going to stop because I'm just,
Don't stop.
No, I'm not. So, but okay. I'm asking actually, there's a morbid curiosity as well because I have two childhood friends who on their way to school saw a guy peep his head out of a manhole in Oshawa and lost his head. So you're not even the only person that I know who have seen a decapitation take place, except these kids were like 12 and you were, 30 or whatever?
30, gosh, 30. I think I was 30, 31.
Okay, can you set up that scene for me? I'm really sorry, but I need to like.
No, it's okay.
Put myself
Comfortable.
there.
Well, as comfortable as I've been ever. Listen, I was at the Cottage in Bala, Ontario. There's a famous bar there, the Key to Bala. Dave Wilcox was playing that night. I was at home at the Cottage. The kids were young, 5 and 9, I think, at the time, or even younger. And I was sitting around the fire with my then wife, and we decided to go to bed about 11:30. Have some frisky time, you know what I mean? And then we got to bed and it didn't work. And I was like, fuck this. It's early and I'm feeling fine. So I grabbed a 6-pack, walked the 8 minutes to town, and there's a boulder you can sit on outside of the Key. It's not kind of outside of the Key, but it's just off the main road. And I was watching through this tiny little window, but more listening, just sitting there minding my own business. And I thought, what a great idea to just go walk out front of the bar and see who's around. I don't even know why I did it, but set it up. The bar's here, street, railroad tracks are right there. I'm walking down the street. I'm almost right outside the bar. I happen to look over. There's a kid sitting there with his head between his legs on the rail track. And within less than 3 seconds, he was gone. Now, I couldn't see the train coming because there was a row of trees. I didn't even have time to say, fuck, jump, move, or I didn't have time to run up or nothing. And he was fucking gone. And I was pretty wasted. I'm not going to lie. And
how far away were you from him?
Not even more than 10 yards, 15 tops. I was pretty close.
Like 30 feet or something like that?
The tracks are, they're right there next to the road with maybe a 5-foot embankment. As soon as I saw it, I ran over to where I saw him, and I'm like, there's no blood, there's no body parts, there's no nothing. That didn't happen. Fuck, what did I drink? And the next thing I know, the train stopped. And that's when it kind of dawned on me that what I saw was real. He was there, and then he wasn't. Plain and simple. I walked down over to 2 cops that were standing outside the Key to Bala, and I couldn't speak to them. I was in complete shock. And I'm lucky I didn't even get arrested on the spot for being like drunk in public. And I was literally like, I wanted to say I just saw a guy get hit and killed by a train. No words would come out of my mouth. So I literally remember kind of running away from them, and they left me alone. I went back, grabbed my backpack that I'd left under the rock, and I started running home to the Cottage. And then all these sirens and ambulances and stuff is going on, and cops. And I went back. I was like, no, I got to go back and deal with this. So I went back, and as I came back, just kind of looking around from where it happened and to where he possibly could be, and there he was. And all the other people were up on the train tracks dealing with the train driver and looking for him up there, and I found him down below. And
oh, wow. So you were the first to find him.
I was the first to find him. Literally, I can explain it like this. A pile of mush, James. His body was literally just a ball of like mashed potatoes. And his head, oddly enough, was like perfectly sliced off. Fuck. And sitting on top of that pile of mashed potatoes. And I'll never forget it as long as that. He was 22.
Did you ever find out the backstory as to why he was on those tracks?
Yeah, and which makes sense as to, I was put there for a reason, and I believe this. It's part of my thought process to heal me. He got a fight with his girlfriend inside the bar. He was asked to leave. He was pretty pissed off at himself for being kicked out. And he went and sat on the tracks. Not a good place to sit. And sadly, I wasn't there soon enough to save him.
So it wasn't an accident. Like he was trying to kill himself.
No, he wasn't. No,
Oh
he
my
wasn't. The train driver, oddly enough, said that the kid was sitting in the middle of the two railroad tracks with his back to the train, wanting to kill himself. It's not fucking true. I know what I saw. I live it every day. He was sitting on the rail. You know, one of those people that are distraught. You're sitting like this. You're like, I fucked up. I fucked up. And then he was gone. I think he just
How
went
did
up
he
there
not
to get
hear the train?
super, super, super loud there. I don't know how he didn't feel the vibration or anything. The train comes around a bend there, and it's full trees, and right where he was sitting is where the trees ended. And he was gone. Anyways, I got that family their what do you call it? Life insurance money because they weren't going to pay out because the train driver said he committed suicide and was sitting with his back to the train. A cop took me right away. When I found the body, they shone some lights down on me from above, and I was like, "He's right here." And they were like, huh, you know, they were kind of shocked but I told them right away. I was like, I saw this happen back there, and I found him here, and I was taken away right away. And my statement to this day held up true in court over the train drivers, and I helped that family out, and it gave them some solstice, I think, or a peace of mind that their son didn't legit go and sit with his back to a train and get fucking smoked. He did. I don't think he wanted to die that night, bro. I really don't. Fucked me up forever, though. I can tell you that. My life instantly changed from that day moving forward. And I think, to go back to my marriage, it was probably subconsciously, I've admitted this to my parents. I think only, maybe Dean. Subconsciously, I blame my ex-wife that night for me being there and seeing that kid get hit and killed by that train. And
that's just ridiculous. That's
probably have affected. You know, I shouldn't have been there, James. I shouldn't have been there.
There's no such thing as shouldn't. There's no such thing as shouldn't have been there. There really isn't. And I'll tell you why. Because they are. I have a story that I tell sometimes. I'll be quick with it because I want to learn more about you. But you know, I was down on my luck. Living with my parents. I think I was like, or my mom. I mean, I was 23, something like that. And I didn't have anything going on. I was a fucking loser. I was like, I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. And I was this like unemployed white. This is so bad. I was this unemployed white rapper, basically, 23, living at my mom's bachelor apartment in South Oshawa. Right? And you know, you can't get any lower than that. That's literally rock bottom. It looks like that apartment. And long story short, my buddy was a producer, got signed by Universal. His lawyers wouldn't let him do free beats for his homies anymore. So he pointed me to the direction in Toronto, and off I went to the Pickering GO station to go to Toronto. And I got a ride by my buddy Nigel, and he was like trying to help me out because he could see that I was down. He's like, James, you got to like, I think you need to like, you know, shake the Etch-a-Sketch and like be nice to somebody without them asking you to do anything. Just be nice to somebody. You'll feel it. It'll feel good. And I was like, okay. So I sit on the platform waiting for the train to come, and I see this dude, and he's trying to bum a cigarette, and everyone keeps on saying no. He keeps on asking another person, and they're like, no. Some people are smoking and are literally like, sorry, dude. You know, like that kind of stuff. He went to walk past me, and I had my smokes in my pocket, and he didn't see me. He didn't even look at me. And as he went to pass me, I held my cigarette pack out and hit him in the chest, and I'm like, just take one. That was in the year 2000, I think in April. And so it's been 22 years. He's my best friend. He was like, I was the best man at his wedding, like 15 years later, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? If I didn't offer that stranger a cigarette and he just walked by, like my life would have been completely different. His girlfriend was the best friend of the woman that I spent 4 years with, who ended up sleeping with my uncle. That guy. So what I'm trying to get at is that whole synchronicity thing. The good thing about synchronicity is that it's nobody's fault. Because then it's everybody's fault. You know what I mean? The guy that programs the traffic lights maybe accidentally programmed the red to be on 3 seconds too slow or too fast. And then one of those cars, because of that, you know, difference in time, might be at a perfect place to get T-boned 10 minutes later. Are you going to blame the traffic guy? So I think that it's like, it's natural. We like to do that. And I think we like to do that because we want to be able to explain to our afraid selves Like there's some logic we can apply here, so it doesn't have to be all emotional. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but like, you know,
No, it does. Listen, it's part of the biggest thing that has kept me from healing is the guilt that I feel. I'm better with it now, but I really wasn't a long time ago when this happened. And for so many years, I felt such guilt of not being there. If I was there even 30 seconds
do you know how
earlier,
many
I would have saved
variables?
him.
You
I
know how
would have
many
saved.
variables and calculations during that single day that
Yeah.
could have happened that would have gotten you there earlier, later, not at all. I understand that the guilt comes. You know where the guilt comes from? I think there's not many people that I meet that are in this category, even though people hear me say it a lot. And that's because it's the type of compliment that when I think it, I have to say it. And you're salt of the earth. You are a member of the Salt of the Earth Nice Club. And so you're kind of I think I would theorize that in that particular situation, you were trying to look for this alternative thing to explain away why you felt guilty. But I think you felt guilty because you're salt of the earth. I think that it's a natural reflex for some people because
I
it's
just wish.
sad. You're feeling,
Yeah,
you know,
I just
like
wish I could.
Jesus Christ, meeting his parents. That would have been like I would have been balling the second that I approached them to say
I,
hi. You
I,
know,
I never got to meet them. They did want to meet. For the record, I was supposed to testify in court for my statement. I had to give it in writing because I was not mentally prepared to face them or the court and say this out loud in court back then when this it was pretty fresh, like only a year or two after the incident happened. By the time it was all said and done, I could not go to court, so everything was done by writing. And my statement held true, and I never did get to meet them. They did send me a thank you letter
yeah.
through the police officer that helped me that night, and I'll never forget him as well. He was such an amazing cop. He really, because I was just a blubbery mess. I mean, I couldn't comprehend what I saw, and he was amazing. He really helped me that night, and I'll never forget him dropping me off at my house and just wishing me the best of luck, and moving forward because he knew I was going to be fucked. And boy, he wasn't wrong at
You
all.
know what I just thought of is that your presence at that event, that damaged your mind as much as it did, served to shield the parents of that person from never knowing what happened to their kid because the train driver was apparently trying to say suicide.
Yeah,
So
and
you're the snapshot that they get to know what happened. Can you imagine not knowing what happened to your child?
yeah, I am that guy, and I wish James. And this is where I beat myself up. Is I wish why was I the guy to be the snapshot for them and not be the guy that fucking saved them? That's what haunts me a lot.
Well, because
You know.
life isn't like, remember that, well, my name is Simon,
Simon,
and the things I draw come true.
true.
Yeah, you ain't Simon. That's why you weren't there with your cape to fly in to save the day. Like, it's not, how many people do you know push people off train tracks? It's not a normal situation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But you couldn't have done anything. The random occurrences of things that took place in the hour, minutes beforehand all played a role in when you were there. It's nobody's fault. And I think that you're saddened that you couldn't save them because you're empathetic. You remind me a lot of the youngest person in the family.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
You,
Maybe
you know,
I never paid attention to that sort of thing. What the younger ones like and what the oldest ones like. I just always
was this
kind of
sort of,
lived just my
yeah,
life,
I was
James.
just going to say the fly by the seat of your pants stuff, the adventurous stuff, the like, tomorrow may never come, so let's seize the day kind of vibe that you have.
I've definitely lived my life like that because sadly, from this, James, I've lived some pretty dark times over those years since that happened. I was suicidal. I'm thankful to be still here because there's a few times where I shouldn't be. Not only from suicide, just doing crazy shit because I didn't give a fuck anymore. It's just I was like, if I'm here tomorrow, great. If I'm not, that's okay too. And that
Were
was
you
how
going
dark I
months at a
was.
time? Were you going months at a time at any point without seeing your kids?
When I was traveling, yeah, I
Yeah.
hit the road. So, you asked if I was married twice. I was engaged again,
Okay.
briefly, and I found out pretty early in the relationship. Luckily, before we got married, that she was cheating on me from day one that we got engaged. So that
Jesus.
coincided with my house flooding. And the funny thing is I had just opened up to her about my PTSD for the first time. She's one of the first person I talked to about it. And I said, I really don't think I'm not doing good in my brain. Like there's something off. And I think it stems from this train thing, because I always just ran from it, dude. I didn't face it at all. I refused to. I was like, oh, I'm stronger. I'm better not. I'll just run. Like I was running like Forrest Gump, dude, back then. And that was my therapy. It shut my brain off. I listened to great tunes and I would just run. But I'm still doing it in a different sense now, and traveling the world and stuff. And it's a great time. But when I told her that, she told me I was crazy. She's like, I think you're crazy. There's nothing wrong with you.
That's a good thing to say to someone when they tell you that.
Fucked me up too. So with the best thing that ever, but then it wasn't the best thing that happened. But thankfully I got rid of her. But at the same time, my house had been flooded and it was unlivable. And I was told 5 months before I could move into it. And I lost my job at the same time. I was pirated by this company that promised me the world after working for them for a year, and they fired me on the 365th day, and they just used me. So all those things happened within 2 weeks of each other, bro. And I fucked off to Costa Rica 2016, and I've literally been on the road ever since, running from life. Wow, I guess.
Wow. So you fully admit that, like, that's what you're doing. You're not ready to face life yet.
Yeah.
Is that why you have is that why you have a pretend therapy dog? Come on. he's not cute and he's your friend, but he's not officially a therapy dog, right?
Like, he is officially a therapy dog. Yes, he is.
Because he's cute and friendly. Is that what all they have to be now? That's like being an Instagram model or some shit. Like
that's. I don't want to get into that whole story, but listen, I think this is probably the first time I have admitted, because Lachlan, Dean, I think even you have said, oh, this is a midlife crisis. You're running. And yeah, I think it's the first time I'll say it out loud, is I probably have been running this entire time, but I've done it in a good sense and made it work. You know what I mean?
That's one of the things that we definitely have in common is the running. Like I told you this before, I moved to Los Angeles on like 2 hours notice once. I literally just picked up my life out of Toronto. It was like, my buddy calls and he's like, do you want to move to Los Angeles and work as a copywriter who writes press releases for nightclubs? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So I literally got on a bus an hour and a half later to Buffalo and took a plane from Buffalo to Los Angeles. Like, with it. Like, so, and everyone was like, why are you doing this? Like, do you have a plan? No. I don't have a plan.
I've shocked quite a few people with my decisions over the years. Coming to Nicaragua the year after Costa Rica, buying a bar, and living here on and off for 3+ years. It's something that most people that I know, the majority, 99% of people won't do what I've done. Was it the right decision ever? I don't know the answer to that, really. Did I have a lot of fun? I sure did. I own bars, a bar. I got to travel. I got to meet so many amazing people around this world. But sadly, at the same time, those demons never left, regardless of the Costa Rica paradise, the Nicaraguan paradise. I went to England for a bit. I bought a 45-foot bus, dude, and sold my house and traveled the United States for almost a year.
I just imagine you one day waking up in like 2020 or whenever it was, and you're like, oh, yeah, I should buy a gigantic touring bus and
just
drive into the zombie apocalypse. Like
sitting at home in this huge house, 4 bedrooms, and my kids weren't living with me anymore. It was just lonely. It was all I was doing was work. And I thought, well, I can fucking do this anywhere. So why am I sitting here in this stupid house where it never really was a home to me? And I'd reap the financial rewards from that, and bought that bus and went and did something crazy. And here we are. I still have the bus. I'm proud of that bus. I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud to have the cojones to do it. Most people, it's not for them. For me, listen, it's what I have done. I love to do, but I think, James, and I mean, we got to wrap this up soon, I think, with you. But that's why we got.
Hey, hold on a second. You're on my fucking show, Bondzee. I'll tell you when we have to fucking go. Okay? Jesus Christ, step all over the host's toes like that. My God.
I didn't mean to step on your toes, but I was just saying, like, what I meant was me being here in Nicaragua. I thought was the right thing to do, And being here within a week, I realized that it's only holding me back from not only getting the help I need, because I finally admitted I needed it and I'm getting it. We've got the therapist booked. She canceled on me yesterday, but just she had a fever. But this whole process, and then even my career with the Dean Show and with other things I want to do, it's only holding me back being here from progressing with all of those other things. And I
Well, that's
think
why
the
I was surprised
running
to just
is
hear you
over.
say it felt like the right thing to do. Really? Like, because it felt like you were like, well, the bus adventure wasn't quite long enough, so I'll go for a small vacation in Canada and then hit the road again. Like, it just sounds like the fruit from the same tree, you know?
Yes and no. I just thought, like, I hate the winters, James. It's not my jam. And I thought, well, the voice acting I can do here, the Dean Show I can do here, my show I can do here. But just coming here, I think I just needed to come here, James, to get that fix. I miss so many people here. I built so many great relationships here. I had some stuff to take care of here still that I own. So I think it was just I
Is it
thought
a
in my head
cocaine
it was
processing facility that you own here?
no, it's
There?
not at
No?
all.
Okay.
Um,
Just checking.
but once I got here and I got that, I got to see everybody that I wanted to see and did some fun things and I sorted my shit out with what I've got. I realized here quickly that being here it's still running and it's still holding me back. And it just clicked, James, after the Super Bowl. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it and go, oh, that's the reason why something just clicked. It just did. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm just tired of running, and I'm sick of running. And I want to go and get help and sell the bus and move back to Ontario and start again and get a house and just do that. But that's the thing with me, James. I don't know how long that's going to last because I'm a fucking fly by the seat of my pants guy. I
Yeah,
don't sit
I agree.
around well in the same spot for very long. And
I'd be doing the same shit that you're doing probably if my kids were grown and out of the house. My kids are 7 and 5. I still consider this is the funny part. I still considered going to see you for a week in Nicaragua, where I most certainly would have drank, even though I haven't drank in 2 years, and then most definitely would have done a bunch of blow. Like I cannot be in situations where I have access to like alcohol, no supervision, and cocaine. That is
yeah,
not a possible place for me to reside ever.
I used that crutch before, James, whilst I was here. Not on the regular, but I did. And I'm thankful to be back here now. And I can say I haven't touched it and everything's been tickety boo. So that's not my jam anymore. And it never
I have a
really was.
reflex not to believe people when they tell me that they're in South America and they have done blow in their lifetime, lots of it, and then they're like, I just don't want to. I just don't want to do it, man.
Dude, I know the pain and sadness that brings me after that the crash comes the next day or 2 days
So do I.
later. I don't need that
So do I.
anymore, bro.
But
It's one of
Drunk James was
well,
always
drunk
like.
on.
I also remembered the first bump was just like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I don't see it like that anymore. I was never that guy.
Good.
I was never that guy that just kind of woke up and had to have it and go to bed
No,
having. It was just that wasn't me.
oh, I
So
was never that guy either. But I was the guy that like whenever I got drunk, there was a tipping point. And if I knew that it was around somewhere, like
no,
where I could get it in
I've
10
been
minutes,
listen. It's no secret. I've been sitting around here. I don't. I go to the bars. I've been to the bars here. I'm not out late at all anymore, which is people are shocked by the new Bondzee here. I have to say, but yeah, me having drinks doesn't immediately want me to do cocaine. I just want to smoke more weed.
well,
To
that's
be honest
good,
with you,
dude. That's good
yeah.
because I think alcohol is the real gateway drug. I had never, ever in my long years of drug enthusiasm, I had never done blow without being drunk. Not once in my life, ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Like maybe I did a bump once randomly when I walked into a house and, hey, you want a bump? Like, or something like that. But otherwise, no, it was always,
Booze was
always alcohol.
involved.
That's why quitting drinking for me was everything because it was like you get rid of that first domino, the rest of the dominoes just stand there, not get knocked
Yeah.
over. I don't have to go do a bunch of blow. Then I don't have to like obsess, with like sexual stuff or whatever the fuck I was dealing with at the time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like everything stemmed from alcohol. And by the way, I don't I think that Lachlan is probably the only one on the show, including Ryan and Dean. Like I think you and I are and Dean are similar in our alcohol consumption in the way that we like, you know, it 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 controlled, like, I don't know what the percentage would be, but a great deal of my personality was tied into what I was like when I was drunk because I drank every night.
Yeah.
You know what I
Me
mean?
too. Me too.
So it becomes like this imposter. It's really not you. It's like the bad you. It's in the drunk matrix or something. Like,
It's so true. And coming down here this time and seeing some of the same people that are still in the same that drunk world, I realized really quickly that I don't fucking want to be that dude anymore.
yeah.
And not
Plus,
that it's
all the
bad
women
for
have
them and stuff.
gunts now, right? They have gunts, and you're like, you were hot. You know?
No, that's not it. There is some smoke shows here, dude. I can't even believe how many hot women are in town right now. It's absolutely magnificent, to be honest with you. But there's
Yeah,
just the mold, and I'm not dissing them or anything. It's just their life. Some are retired, some aren't, and it's just the life they choose to live. But I got too much to live for still, bro. And I coming down here and think in the thought process that I could do this for 3 months and stay out of the bars and the social life. No, I'm a social butterfly, dude. And the only place to go and socialize here is sitting on the beach with some beers or sitting in a bar with some beers, watching the sunset and stuff. And listen, it's fine to go out and do it for a couple. But once I can get going, I can get going. But I've pulled the reins back here, and I have not been out later than 10:30, 11 o'clock here, not once, and pretty proud of that. But that being
yeah.
said, it's still not the right place to be in my mind frame.
Like literally a block away is like lots of cocaine.
Six,
Like I could
7
never be
bars,
there. I don't
tons
know
of
if I've
cocaine.
stressed that enough yet, Bondzee, but
Weed.
I could never be there.
Yeah, I was. So you were gonna come when I was
Yeah, I
first
still
gonna
might.
be here for 3-4 months.
You know, if you were there for another 3 months, I probably would come, and then I would literally probably do like a live cam of James trying not to deteriorate under the weight of temptation. Like,
I was terrified for you to come here because I'm like, I don't want James to OD because he's having such a great time on all the amazing cocaine that's around here. I don't know if it's your scene, bro. It's your scene, but I'm afraid that it's too much of your scene, and maybe
yeah,
it's
well,
not
it's
the right
not
place
even
for you to
like
come.
because like literally, if you add the like, okay, you get drunk and then you do blow and then you just want to fuck. And then you're surrounded by women with the greatest bums of all time, and you're like, okay,
There's a lot of
this
hot
isn't
women
gonna
here,
work.
dude, and those three things right there would just it's not a good thing for you. So maybe you shouldn't come here and visit.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
or
part
maybe
of
I
the
should.
reason. It's subconscious.
Maybe I'm
No, I
being.
shouldn't even say that.
Maybe I don't have enough confidence. Maybe I could handle it. I don't know. Like it's easy to joke about the drug stuff. In fact, it's the low hanging fruit of
Yeah.
what people joke about with me usually. Like, and that's fine. I have no issue with that at all. But maybe I'm fine now because like it's not like I'm not tempted to drink. But then you get the Latin women in the fucking bars and I don't like it just.
You'd be tempted, bro.
Yeah,
I'm too tempted here, and listen, I am adult enough now to figure it out, and I finally can say I'm in a better place. And I've had people say this to me here. Numerous people say you are 100% different than when you were here before, and they mean that in a good way. I'm still Bondzee. I'm still that traveling fun guy that people really came to respect. But I'm more of a soberish fun Bondzee here now than the guy that was here before, owning a bar, drinking day and night, managing a bar, drinking day and night, doing cocaine from time to time, and being that loud, boisterous, kind of annoying dude. Whereas now I'm just kind of chill, laid back, Bondzee, and I really like this guy.
I'm the worst when I'm drunk. I'm just like, what the fuck, da da da. Like I'm just like you completely arrogant and bombastic. I don't know the volume of my own voice.
Ditto.
But one day we're gonna do shrooms and we're gonna record a podcast where we have the most crazy intellectual conversations about all of our pain and how we processed it in life.
I look forward to that, James.
Actually,
I
I'm
know
not
we were
kidding. I wanna
supposed to
do
do
that.
that when I was home, but we are definitely when I'm back, whenever that is. We'll
Yeah,
set a
whatever.
weekend aside and we'll do some shrooms and we'll do a podcast and it'll be pretty awesome.
Let's do it in like June or something, so we can go outside and walk around and stuff like that.
Sure, sounds good.
All right, buddy. You have an open invite. I've never called you Greg, so I'm never gonna call you Greg, Bondzee.
You can call me whatever you want.
Okay.
It is my name. Yeah, you can call me that too. Some people have and will continue to do so.
Okay, good. Well, listen, dude, thanks for doing this. I'm going to cycle through a couple of other dudes from the network to talk to because I kind of feel like sometimes that we don't really get to do much more than scratch the surface based on the vehicle that we usually find ourselves communicating in. And I don't know. I enjoy. This is my favorite conversation by far I've ever had with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you asking me to do this. It was therapeutical. I missed out yesterday for my first day, and this kind of felt like therapy in a way because I know these heavy conversations are going to come up, and
Yeah.
all,
Well, I'm
all of
rooting
these
for you,
topics,
dude.
as
I'm
much
rooting
as
for you.
it
I
came
really
up
am.
minorly with you, and we kind of got into them a bit during therapy, dude. We're going to go so much more deeper, and it's going to be harder. But I'm finally prepared to put in the work. I'm
Well,
finally there.
good, man. I'm proud of you. I think keep going. Don't worry about streaks. The AA crowd always like worry about streaks and stuff. I think that try not to do whenever you decide to do things or not do things. Just keep it to yourself so that people can't go, I thought you said you were going to quit drinking 3 months ago because you're holding a beer. Like, you don't have to deal
Yeah,
with that bullshit. Really, it's
yeah,
annoying. Yeah.
I agree. I
Um.
agree.
Okay. Listen,
Thanks,
Bondzee.
man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll see you next on. Are you on today on Dean?
I haven't heard yet, but I've been off the phone for a bit. So I'm always kind of an hour or two to go before I find out. But I probably not. Maybe tomorrow. If not, we'll see
Okay.
you next week.
Try to have sex on camera in your apartment before you go. Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Good job.
Thanks for having.
That's Greg Bond, buddy. That's Bondzee. I'm never gonna call him Greg Bond. Bonzee's become one of my good friends, and I've never met him because we live in the future, and the future is now. Thank you for joining me. This is Blackballed. I'm James DiFiore. Next week on Tuesday, I might have a show Monday. I'm not sure. I'm trying to work something out. But on Tuesday, I have Yuck Yuck's founder, Mark Breslin. And we're going to do a tribute show to Bob Saget, Louis Anderson, and Norm Macdonald. And we're going to have Mike Bullard and a bunch of other comedians and club owners popping in and out, just sharing stories of their fallen comedians. So that should be fun. And I'll see you today at 3 on the Dean Blundell Show. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.